Good morning everyone. Today I am here to explain ER and EER diagrams. An ER diagram is used to show the relationships between the entities. An ER diagram uses 6 standard symbols. An entity may be an object with either a physical existence or a conceptual existence, such as a person, student, car, house, a company, job, etc. Let us take an example and say that we have an entity called student. Then this entity would definitely have some characteristics such as name, ID, and let's say class. All these characteristics that define an entity are called attributes. The relationships are the associations between entities. Weak entities depend on another parent entity because they do not have a primary key. Multivalued attributes are the attributes that can have more than one value, such as contact number, because a person can have more than one contact number. Weak relationships are the connections between a weak entity and its parent. All these ER diagram symbols can be represented as follows. Then the next topic we have is cardinality. The number of times an entity participates in a relationship is known as cardinality. When each entity takes part only once in the relationship, the cardinality is 1:1. For example, a male can only be married to one female and a female can only be married to one male. So this is a 1:1 relationship. The next we have is many-to-one relationship. Over here we see that one student can only be enrolled in one class, but one class can have many students. So it is a many-to-one relationship. The next we have is many-to-many relationship, where we see one student is enrolled in many courses and similarly one course can hold many students. So it is a many-to-many relationship. The first step that we take while drawing our ER diagram is to identify the entities. So through our case study we were able to identify 8 entities which are as follows. The next thing we do is try to construct relations between these entities. So over here we can say that the donor donates blood. This can be a relationship between two entities which are donor and blood. So similarly we were able to find quite a few relations which are as follows. The donor donates blood, the patient receives blood, manager manages the blood bank, clinical analyst analyzes blood, registration team registers donor, registration team registers patient, hospital contacts blood bank, and blood bank stores the blood. The next step is to identify the attributes which we were able to do quite successfully, which are as follows. So here is an ER diagram which clearly shows that the donor donates blood, blood is stored in the blood bank, the manager manages the blood bank, the clinical analyst analyzes the blood, the patient receives the blood, the registration team registers the donor, the registration team registers the patient, and the blood bank contacts the hospital. So this was our ER diagram and all the attributes of specific entities are mentioned here. The next thing to understand is an EER diagram, which is an extended version of an ER diagram while adding attribute or relationship inheritances, category or union types, specializations and generalizations, subclasses and superclasses. First, let us take an example. Let us say that we have an entity vehicle while we have two more entities called car and scooter. So we can clearly see in this example that vehicle is a generalized entity class or a superclass, and similarly car and scooter are specialized entity classes or subclasses of vehicle. So this phenomena is called generalization and specialization, which is mainly seen in the EER diagram. Let us see the EER diagram that we have drawn for our project. Over here we can clearly see that person is a generalized superclass while donor and patient are specialized subclasses. So this is what we do in our EER diagram, wherein when we move downwards we find specialization occurring, while when we are moving upwards we can simply understand the concept of generalization. I hope you have understood. Thank you and have a nice day.